Yeah, no, this book would have probably owned my ass in junior high. But now that I'm older, I look at it and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I mean, but then again, the books that I was obsessed with were like Twilight. The most abuse that was going on in there was probably like neglect, if anything.
Mhm.
Um, obviously, maybe if,
Pedophilia? Fucking.
well, I mean, it's, listen, we're gonna do the Twilight series on here, and I'm literally gonna fucking stump your answer. I'm gonna be like, listen,
Yeah,
we're
you're
gonna,
gonna have to defend it because I'm gonna shit on it hard.
well, I hope that you do, Val. I hope that you do, because you're talking to the bitch that had the fucking, like, grimoire of all the Twilight readings, okay? I was a little bit too obsessed. I blame Elva Valle. I don't know if you remember her, but she's the one that was like, you should totally read it.
Yeah, no, I love Elva. She tried to get me to read it too, but I was like,
I'm
no
gonna go
thanks.
get some more butter.
Go
Okay,
get your
hurry
butt.
up.
So yes, I do think that it ends with us. I think that the writing, at least before we get into it, she does have a very clear voice. I wrote down somewhere in here that she'd be great as a comedy writer instead of something so dark, because to me it feels like she has this unique thing where she can make a joke in her writing and I kind of giggle. Like she'll say something stupid, I'm like, "Oh, that was kind of okay, girl. Like that was funny." But
Sorry.
no, you're good. But like the trauma and all of that, it feels like she's just trying so hard to be edgy.
See, and all of her books are like this.
Oh
Like
god.
she writes dark romance. So, and maybe I'm gonna get like killed. Maybe I'll be canceled for calling it dark romance, to be completely honest, because there are different genres of romance, and we've talked about this. Dark romance is like mafia, kidnapping, like a lot of abuse and trauma. There are
My
like
kind of
some
stuff.
right, except usually there is some sort of disassociation that comes with it. So you're
Mhm.
reading the book and you're like, this is fucked up, but it's fake and I can get behind it for this one book. Like it's problematic, but it's okay because it's a book and I know it's fake. The issue with This Is Us is that it's based off of her parents' relationship. I hope anyone who's listening to this, like I hope that you guys understand that we're not shitting on you.
No.
We're
Never on
shitting on
you. Hurt
the
you.
people who do this stuff. So if you're doing this, we're shitting on you. For sure.
I don't
Yeah.
think that people who shit on other people are listening to our podcast. And if they are, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome
Leave.
here. Put this in the beginning of the trigger warning. You're not
Yeah,
welcome if you're.
I'll throw that in.
Excellent. Excellent.
So to preface, before we start, while Sophie's getting her butter, I wanted to do a quick trigger warning for anyone who's watching this. This is a heavy book. It's a really heavy book. People don't like Colleen Hoover for multiple reasons, which we could potentially get into eventually. But trigger warnings for This Is Us and for the next couple of episodes are domestic abuse, regular abuse, death of a family member, sexual assault, attempted rape, PTSD, depression, anxiety. There is a lot going on in this book, and I'm pretty sure that there's some that I've left out, and I'll keep updating as we're going along because I don't want someone to be listening to this and then, have a mental breakdown.
Mhm.
So if this sounds like something that you cannot listen to, that you're like, you know what, I have all of these triggers, it's okay. Skip it. Wait until we go back to the Harry Potter series. We will be
We're
going back
doing
to it
other
after this.
books. Yeah, like don't
Yeah.
feel forced to listen to this one. But you
Yes.
may be wondering why in God's green earth we would even bother to read it. Why would we
Well,
even bother to read this?
let's do
Because
the intro real quick, and then
go for it.
let's really get into this because I'm ready to tear it apart.
Okay. And okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to On About the Podcast with a bookworm, a casual reader, and a person who can barely read. I'm your host, Vale, for this book. Today we are doing This Is Us, and I am joined by Gabby and Sophie.
Hello, guys. Nice to see you again.
You just listened to us talk for like 4 minutes about it, but we're going to
Also,
continue.
quick little tidbit. We have moved our recording time, guys, 30 minutes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's fine right now. I'm already kind of tired, but Val will be leaving to Korea in about like 6 days.
5.
5 days.
Of a countdown.
And you want to know something? I'm
Sophie's face.
like, I gotta get my ass up at 5 in the morning to record this fucking podcast for you guys. And 30 minutes earlier, and I'm already like exhausted.
It's we gotta fix your schedules. Like I'm gonna see because hopefully, yeah, guys. So there's obviously a time difference from where I'm at in Texas.
Texas.
It's because the cup is it says Texas. And Gabby's in California, and Sophie's gonna stay in Texas, but I'm gonna be in South Korea. So there's quite a bit of a time difference.
She's abandoning this show, you guys. She's abandoning this podcast. She's
I
gonna
started it 2 seconds ago.
she's going to run into some sort of Korean.
She's like a
plastic
deadbeat
surgeon.
dad. Like she created this shit and she's leaving. Going out for some fucking milk or something.
She would do something like that. No, I'm kidding. I'm
Going up
joking.
Yeah.
Would you?
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to be doing I'm going to be reading probably most of this book. Oh, and I have color-coded notes this time. Because there is so much. Yeah, there's so much going on. I decided to look at TikTok people for annotation styles and stuff, and I decided that I'm just going to highlight in this book because as much as I do not like it, I feel bad writing in it still.
Wait, but you own the book, right?
Yeah, it's my book.
Oh, well then I wouldn't.
I just feel bad. I don't know.
You okay?
That
Well,
was a good two shoes.
I'm a
Val's
good
a
noodle.
fucking Val's a
Good
fucking
noodle.
goody two shoes.
I mean, I am. Okay, guys, so it ends with us. Sophie, as per usual, did not read it and is not doing the readings. We're doing chapters 1-5 today.
Oh.
And we are in for a roller coaster. Starting off, it is already so problematic. Like, just the first chapter, as soon as I started reading, I was not for it.
I couldn't get through the first chapter without some sort of substance in my body. I was like, I need either like a drink or I need to take
Chocolate
a smoke
milk.
break. Well, chocolate
Chocolate
milk
milk.
wasn't gonna fix this. Chocolate milk was not gonna fix this. Like,
I'm just joking. But yeah, no, it was very difficult to get through. I decided that I was going to do these annotations, right? So you can see there's a lot. This is only 5 chapters. I've only gone through 5 chapters. So I have these orange ones are cringy or bad writing from my perspective, what I think, right? So like if you guys disagree, that's totally fine. You're probably wrong, but that's okay. Then I also have foreshadowing and predictions. That's blue. I only have one of those. And then I have like anything that has to do like with sex, sexual stuff, or something that I thought was actually kind of cute or like tolerable. I only have one of those too.
for
And
those of
then-
you who are just listening to the audio, Val's holding up her book with all the sticky notes.
Yeah, there's like a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And then finally, I have trauma, not okay, or weird lines, and that's like most of it. It's like yellow greenish, so there's a lot to talk about. Let's get started with the train wreck that is This Is Us. The only thing that I did want to read is the dedication. So if y'all don't read like Sophie, then you might not know that there are dedications at the beginning of books.
Okay, everybody has to read at least one book in their life. We know.
You know
I'm
what,
just
Sophie?
joking, Sophie.
You speak out for the non-readers of the world.
I know. Like, I'm gonna go into your room and choke you out, man. Like, you're just a couple steps away.
She
Watch
is
it.
and I
down the
won't be in a
hall.
week.
Watch it.
I
Yeah.
won't be in a week.
And then
So-
she's gonna start talking the most shit because
I
you
know,
can't
for
she's
real.
hear.
gone.
Yeah, she is. I know for a fact she is. The dedication in the book says, "For my father who tried his best at not being his worst, and for my mother who made sure we never saw him at his worst."
I
God.
dislike that.
Yeah.
Right? I feel bad because you'll see the dynamic that the parents have. And if this is the dynamic that her parents had, I'm so sorry for these people. Like, for the mom, mostly. Like, I'm sorry for her mom.
See, I've read into chapter 7,
Mhm.
and the abuse is, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Because you know what? This is like me being like an idiot, okay? But continue. Like,
Okay, so let's go through and summarize. I
I
have
think
to
that's a cute fucking shirt idea. Chocolate milk isn't gonna fix this.
that is good.
That's a really good, like, chocolate milk isn't gonna fix this. This is so bad that chocolate milk isn't even gonna make me feel any better.
It is really bad. Like, it's just so bad. Like, there's so much going on.
No, you know what?
Where
I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Edit me out. I don't care. I think that this abuse. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
This abuse in this book is awful, and it is a very real thing that happens in America and in lots of other countries. It's awful. Domestic abuse ain't fun, and it ruins the lives of people around them. Right.
Mhm.
However, comma, I will say, not to play devil's advocate, but as far as fucked up things go, starting out, because I've only read to chapter 7, I have not seen it as like horrible. You know, I mean, I have read some other books like this one, Enix and Nymphomaniacs, written by an anonymous person because it's so bad they didn't want to put their name on the book. And so I get that there's worse writing out there, but for me, it feels kind of like Colleen Hoover just wrote something aesthetically pleasing, but trauma dumping. Like, I feel like that's what all this is. She's
Like
fitting an
those weird,
aesthetic.
like those weird poetry books.
Basically, or like Lana Del Rey.
Mhm.
I do see that. It's just,
I feel like
I
this
mean,
author glamorizes trauma. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to say. Like,
yes. It feels, and this is one of those books where you're reading it and it ends up being like, oh, they're together because they're traumatized.
trauma bonding.
Dude.
Yeah, and it's not even like a good like, oh, well, we almost were killed by some random ass ex-girlfriend or boyfriend and
Yeah.
thus we are closer. It's like, no, like I traumatized you.
So now you
Your
stay.
parents traumatized you and now we're together. Kind like that's kind of what it is. And it's so problematic. Okay, let me just go into chapter 1 and then if I miss something, we'll go back. It's fine.
Hold
Okay.
on. Hold on. Okay, so really quickly, I just got my nails done. Look, they're
Oh,
red.
cute.
They're like a blue a cool tone jelly, red jelly with a little like pink cool toned heart on
I
the
love
ring finger.
that. Damn it, I love that. I wish I had nails like that. I just painted mine pink.
Oh,
Like
it's cute.
basic ass.
I'm
Vale
growing
just,
mine out.
yeah, Vale's just
Cute.
keeping them.
Ignore the marker on my finger.
That's
Okay.
so like
I am
art.
ready.
You just like and there's ink all over your hands.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from actually, but
You're good.
regardless.
It's
Okay.
metal.
So chapter 1, there's no chapter names, sadly.
I know.
So we start off with a character. The main character. Her name is Lily Bloom. Yep. I knew Sophie was gonna have an issue with the names. So her
Fat
name is
eye
Lily
roll.
Bloom.
Dude.
She's 23, by the way. So she's
It's
a
like
year younger than me.
her name is Cherry
She's
Blossom.
my exact age. Lily Bloom is my exact age. So I am looking at this character as a peer, as a woman that is plaguing my society, quite frankly.
Yeah, like I think last year this would have been a very different feeling, but now that I'm like, so much older, like now that I'm 24. I'm just kidding.
I'm
yeah,
like, you
so,
don't
like,
remember. You don't remember what it's like to be 23, Val. You're 24.
don't.
You can't possibly understand this character.
I turned 24 like a whole like 4 months. She's a 23-year-old college graduate in Boston and has given a eulogy at her father's funeral just a couple of hours ago in her hometown of Plethora, Maine. Currently, she has decided to stand at the ledge of a 12-story building to be alone with her thoughts. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, sorry, I forgot that I wasn't supposed to. A young man's entrance to the rooftop patio interrupts her musings. She witnesses as he vents his anger violently on a chair and recalls her own father's rages. When the young man finishes, he finally sees Lily, asking her to come down. As they talk, we learn his name is Ryle Kincard. Kincard, I think. Kincaid.
It's Kincaid.
Sorry, yeah. I forgot.
No, you're good. You're good.
And then he is studying to become a neurosurgeon. He is there because his sister owns a floor in the building. Lily confesses that she doesn't live in the building herself and that she is there because she appreciates the rooftop patio. It's the closest to she can come in Boston to her hobby of gardening, a hobby she wants to pursue by opening her own floral shop. Their conversation continues, and Ryle tells Lily that he just saw a boy die, shot accidentally by a 6-year-old brother who had found their parents' gun. Lily mentions that that her father was abusive, and that in her eulogy she suggested that there was nothing good she could say about him. To which Ryle replies, "There is no such thing as bad people."
How many pages did you just read?
I didn't read pages here. Actually, that's what I was about to.
Because like that was a lot of words, and I have no idea what you just said.
So I read that was 17 pages that I just got through.
Oh, what?
Condensed information. I'm like,
Yeah. So the reason that they're doing all of this, where she's telling him everything, like, oh, my dad's abusive and all that stuff, is because they're doing something called the naked truth. So they're telling each other naked truth. After she tells him, my dad's abusive, she says it's your turn.
Why do they have to be something special, like a naked truth? It's just a fucking truth. Like, just be honest. Just
I don't know. I
communicate
think
your
it's like a
thoughts.
non. I think it's meant to be like a not sugar coated kind of.
Yeah, you can just say, "Tell me the truth," and don't be a dick.
the thing is that it's like a once in a lifetime like chance meeting that they happen to be on this roof, and it's all like, oh, like mysterious, kind of like wrapped in this mystery. So it's like, it's like, oh, I could tell you the truth. No, it's literally just like already hinting at sex because they're like, can you do a naked truth? Already naked is in your brain. That's like fuckboy
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
That's what men
Correct.
do to manipulate.
No, it's really bad. Like just starting off already, right? So then
Mhm.
Ryle basically tells her that he saw like a
Ryle?
5-year-old. Ryle, yeah, that's the guy's name. I said it earlier.
Terrible name.
Oh, I zoned you out.
Sophie,
I forgot my crochet.
you need, go get it if you're not going to pay attention. You need to pay attention.
The first chapter was so problematic.
I know. I honestly I was telling Sophie that had it not been had if I was just reading this like purely for fun, I would have put it down.
Mm.
Like this is just like everything that I just would not. I wouldn't read it.
I wouldn't read it either. I wouldn't even listen to it.
You know, I just really look at the freaking writing style, and she could be a fairly good like funny writer, but she's doing this. To
Yeah.
me, it feels wasted. It feels vain. It's vain writing.
Well, it's about
Superficial.
this book is about her. Like this is a self-insert.
Oh
Like
my
it kind of
god,
like Twilight, Twilight is a self-insert. So
that is true.
so Ryle says to Lily that, the boy died and he's really
Yeah.
upset and that if he walked out and basically told the parents like, "Hey, your son died because of your incompetence because you left a gun loaded in your house, right?"
That's
And that
the
he
Mm.
had
man
no
named
sympathy.
Ryle.
I don't know. That he had
Like,
absolutely no sympathy for the parents at all.
might as well been have named him Kyle. But yeah, like, what happened?
A
I just heard
5-year-old boy
gun.
died.
Yeah, right.
Ryle went out, told the parents that the boy died, and he had no sympathy and that he was really upset with
But
them
like, how
for
did he
leaving the
die?
gun. He was shot by his 6-year-old brother on accident.
The parents left a fucking gun in the house.
Yeah, I mean, the parents should have been smarter than to like leave it where the kid could get it.
Hmm.
Of course, it should have also not been loaded.
Yeah, and he says that he's really upset about it and that he really hates that the 6-year-old is going to be traumatized for the rest of his life because it's not like he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He then asks for another naked truth. And so Lily starts to talk about her eulogy. Now, she told her mom that she does not want to give the eulogy and that she had nothing to say. And that also, like, she didn't respect her father at all. So there was just no reason for her to go up and give the eulogy. So he asked, like, did you end up doing it? And she says, yeah, that she did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that her mom told her to say just 5 good things about her dad. So she says, okay, fine, I can do that. I can go up and say 5 nice things about him. So she goes up and she says, "Hello, my name is Lily Bloom, daughter of the late Andrew Bloom. Thank you for joining us today as we mourn his loss. I wanted to take a moment to honor his life by sharing with you 5 great things about my father. The first thing, and then she says nothing, and she stands up there for like 5 minutes and just is staring out at everyone. It takes a couple minutes. Her
A
mom
funeral
realizes
is
something's
not a
good.
fucking place to make a fucking statement.
He was beating her mom.
No, she should have just not gone.
They forced her.
She's an adult. She's
They
not
forced
Mexican.
her. They forced her.
Like
She
how?
did not want to
At
go up.
gunpoint?
She didn't want to go up, Sophie, and her mom forced her. Her mom forced her to go up. It doesn't need to be gunpoint. Sometimes you just feel like a sense of duty to your parents and you do what they tell you because they're your parents. She went up and said nothing. And I'm sorry, but like I think that shitty people like this should be humiliated at their funeral.
I believe too much in vengeful spirits, so I'm kind of just like, okay, like peace. But in the back of my mind, the last time I was like, I'm glad you're dead at a funeral, weird shit happened.
No, I would have been
So
like, he was my dad. Thank you. 5.
name 5 good things about him. He made me. He
That's
made
it.
me. He made me.
If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here. So Ryle thinks this is super funny, and he's like, "Wow, you roasted like a dead guy."
Also, I hate that he said that. That line really pissed me off.
Yeah,
You roasted a
Wait.
dead guy. You're like my hero.
you're like,
Is there
shut
like-
up.
Is there like slang and stuff in this?
Oh yeah,
Oh
oh
god.
yeah,
It's because
yeah.
don't write slang in.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
It
Like,
doesn't age well.
Like sometimes you'll read it and you'll just do it in your head. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, because I read all the time, right?
Right.
No, but like, ugh.
And we get to the part where I was like frustrated. Like I was already. This is page 20, and I was
You're-
frustrated. So
you were
he's
frustrated.
yeah. Basically, she says, "Okay, you tell me one now," and he's like, "I can't top that." She's like, "Just tell me something that's on your mind that you wouldn't usually say out loud." He gets closer and he says to her, "I want to fuck you." Her dad died. Like she was at his funeral today.
I heard
No.
this thing on TikTok where guys will be like aroused by girls crying.
That's true. That's true. Also, he says, "Oh, she's like, I've never heard a guy say fuck so casually before."
Oh my god.
I hear guys say
How?
fuck all the time. I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of circle she's running in, but like I when people talk about sex, they're like, "Oh, I'm fucking." Like men, that's what they say. So I don't know what kind of. I don't think she interacts with the male species that much.
Wait,
Yeah,
is
like
she
in
like
real
a
world.
not like other girls type character?
Oh yes.
Oh
big
my
time.
god.
So that's something I wanted to get into, but like eventually, like it's really like
You know what?
there's a lot. There's a lot of that.
Sophie, if you can get through this book, your karmic debt will be paid. If you can sit through this cringe fest, your karmic debt is paid. And that is the selling point of this book.
Basically, yeah. So bad. So she's speechless, and he's like, "Well, you're a girl. I'm a guy.
So
I am into one night stands, and I would take you downstairs to my bedroom right now if you said I could fuck you." And she was like, "I'm not into one night stands." And this is really important. He says he figures, and then he's like, "Okay, your turn." And she's like, "What the fuck am I supposed to say?" So she's like regrouping, and she says, "Okay, since the subject has come up, the first guy I ever had sex with was homeless."
ew.
Sophie.
Wait, sorry, keep going. Maybe there's context.
So he says, "I need more information." She tells him that she grew up in Maine and that they were in a really good neighborhood and that their backyard had like a condemned house. And she became friends with a guy named Atlas who stayed in that same house. No one knew he was living there except
How
for
old was he?
her. This is when she was a teenager. He was also a teenager. They were both going
Okay.
to school. Right. Yeah. I was
Okay.
worried that this was going to be a case of she's like 16 and like had sex with like a 20-year-old where I was
Yeah,
like,
I
no,
thought
I
that
wouldn't be
was-
surprised, especially where like this book is already going. Anyway, her father found out and he says, "What did he do?" And she says that it's hard for her to think about, but he beat him up. Like, "Okay, your turn." And he says, "The thought of marriage repulses me."
Oh god.
Right? I was like, I do not want to read this anymore.
There's so many red flags.
Right?
Like
There's so many.
first he gave me the ick because he called her a hero, and
Mhm.
then he was like, "Oh, no, fuck you." Third red flag. Oh my god.
I literally put a little sticky note. I just put bro. Like, why would you say that?
I actually have written in my notebook, just in all caps, what?
Did I put bro?
I heard. I was like, oh my gosh, like
It's because, like, why? Like, I understand this is like setup. This is exposition, right? This is all exposition. But it just feels so forced. Like this first chapter was so hard to get through because it is exposition. And it feels like exposition. Like, look at this character. He has all of these issues. Look at this character. She has all of these issues. Aren't they like terrible together? Don't you just want them to be together? And like the
Yeah.
answer is no. I
They both
really
need to go to
don't.
therapy.
Yeah.
The other one, and the guy needs to get an STD check.
In script writing, usually they'll be like, oh, this is what you're gonna do, and you have this long to do it, and you have this many pages, and you have to turn it in, right, for a grade.
Right.
This is literally like rushed writing. Like it feels like, oh, I have like a banger of a middle and an ending, but I need to kind of just like introduce really quick. So
Mhm.
she's like, I'm just gonna super crazy, super chance, super heightened, romanticized trauma bullshit, faking
And
like
this
they have things in
crazy ass
common.
guy.
The only solace is Blake Lively and Baldoni.
I know, like I kept on trying to force myself to imagine them so that I could get through it.
Wait a
But then
minute.
we get to this.
Is that who's playing it?
Yeah, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
You're kidding! I didn't know that. That's kind of
No,
sick.
for real. That's kind of why I wanted to read it because Blake Lively and
Justin
Justin Baldoni.
I mean,
You
it's
know
good
Justin
enough.
Baldoni, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
good. Just making sure.
Of
Y'all
course.
She
watch
knows
Jane
him
the Virgin.
personally. Imagine.
Because I would literally die.
He's so handsome and he has a family. Oh my gosh.
We
I
love
know.
him.
We love him.
A
Dilf.
man.
So the next thing that Ryle says is, I'm way too selfish to have children, and I'm definitely too selfish to be in a relationship. And this was my one blue little marker where I was like, that is foreshadowing right there. And I found out before we started recording this that there was a second book,
Dude,
right?
yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna read it. I doubt that we're gonna read it
I
because
don't.
this is hard enough to get through.
If it's
Ladies.
anything like this, and if there's no redeeming qualities later in the book, which I doubt there are,
I doubt.
yeah, then no. Then no. I'm gonna say no on the second book.
Yeah. I'm not very much looking forward to it. So
Ladies and gentlemen and
Yes.
non-binary friends. So if a person says, "Oh, I'm not good for you," "Oh, I'm like," if they give you like some terrible description of themselves, it's probably true.
Listen to them.
It's probably
I wrote
true.
that down later on too. There was
Like,
like another moment where he says something similar, and I'm like, when someone describes themselves this way, listen to them. They're not saying save me, help me. They're saying I'm a terrible person. I'm gonna fuck you up.
yeah,
And
and
stay
you do
away.
not deserve that. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a couple of guys, cause I'm on Bumble. Not right now. I just deleted it. But I've seen a couple of guys, and I'm just like, okay, hey, what's up? So then we're talking, and we're just like, okay, and then they're like, oh my god, you're so cute, you're so special, but I'm so bad. I'm such a bad person. And I'm like, okay, peace out, goodbye, ghosted.
Mhm.
You know,
And
I'm not
thank
about
you
that.
for
You should
telling
not be
me.
about that.
Thank you for telling me that you're awful.
Yeah.
I know. Like, thank you for not wasting my time.
You know, there is a redeeming quality to that. And you know what? She could have just said no. Because if it were me in that position, I would just be, repulsed. I'd be like, no,
Yeah.
I don't like
It's a
that
turnoff.
stuff.
It's a turnoff. I don't want someone to sit there and be like, look at how terrible I am. I'm a
So,
horrible person. And like, you can't do anything about that. Like, that doesn't turn me on. That makes me think, ew.
for real,
Like, I'm too good for this.
my so in this book, he's smoking pot on the roof, right? And I'm
Right.
like, could not be me. Could not be me where I'm like thinking about having sex with this guy. I would be like, yeah, no, but can I get a hit of your joint? Like,
Did he never put it out, right? He just like had it and then
no,
didn't.
there's a line where it says that he pulls the stupid ass, he licks his fingers and like he puts it out with his fingers like if he's a
Ew.
bad boy.
No. So he's judging her heavily for wanting a relationship and for wanting her holy grail of a guy. And that he keeps saying to her, like, you should try my method. And she's like, that's just like not my thing.
Hmm.
Great, that's fine. If your thing is hooking up, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not a fan of hookup culture. It makes it very difficult because people don't tend to disclose that they want to hook up most of the time. They kind
Yeah.
of just lead you on and then ghost you after, and that's just like not I don't think it's good.
That's just a fact of the game, everybody.
And yo, it's not benefit to women at all.
No.
Because
I don't think so, yeah.
a one night stand, is he really gonna care about
Anything.
about you?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's
I
just
don't know.
hookup culture is not my thing. The fact that he's shaming her for wanting an actual relationship is another humongous red flag. And then he asks her how far she's willing to go with someone, even if it's not sex,
Oh my
right?
god.
And he starts trying to like feel her up, and she's kind of consenting to it. Like she didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. But it's also like she's clearly we're in her head, so she's clearly like enjoying it.
Oh
And
my
then he gets a
god.
phone call, and he has to get to the hospital in 30 minutes. I'm assuming someone's dying.
He's a
Ew.
surgeon. He's
Yeah,
training to be a surgeon.
he's
And
training
he's
to be a neurosurgeon.
smoking.
No,
Oh, so
literally, they
she
talk
made that
about
point.
that. They talk
Yeah,
about
she made that point. And she's like, "You're a neurosurgeon and you're smoking weed." And he was like, "I don't smoke all the time. We all have our off days." And I was just like, "Okay, I guess."
No, but that's stupid. He's a neurosurgeon, so he knows.
That means
when-
he's going in high to work right now.
Yes, that's what I was. That's my first thought. But he knows better. Like us
What?
regular people, we can smoke and not care about the consequences. But he knows exactly the consequences.
I think
That's
that
true.
he is. I think that's just arrogance, where it's like bad things could never happen to me.
It reminds me
Maybe.
of that part of The Fault in Our Stars where uh what's his face puts a cigarette in his mouth and he's like not lighting it, and he was like, I'm being better than that because like I have cancer in my
It's a
body and I have
metaphor.
yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That
Listen,
was very frustrating.
don't come for The Fault in Our Stars because I did very much like that book.
No, I like the book.
Oh,
That
girl,
was one of the only books I read it.
It was
I
so
have
cute.
issues with that one. He has to go and he's about to take off and then he stops and she's laying on a lounge chair and he
Mhm.
says, "Don't move." And he takes a picture of her.
Very
Um,
creepy. Creepy.
why would you do that? That happened to me once.
What?
I went to Comic Con dressed as Little Miss Fortune with my ex boyfriend.
Mhm.
And I wasn't paying attention, and this guy was like, "Hey, can I take a picture of you?" And I was like, my brain was like, "Yeah," because like you guys are always taking pictures. Not you, Gabby, but when you did, you guys are always taking pictures of me. So my instinct was like, "Yeah, sure," and he took a picture of me. And thinking back to it, that's so stupid. That was so dangerous.
Yeah.
And
It happened. Men are creepy sometimes.
I was at a Comic Con too, so like even
Ooh.
worse. And my ex was like, "Dude, why'd you just let him do that?" And I was like, "I have no idea."
I think it's just like a force of habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he takes a picture, leaves, and she's like, I'm probably never gonna see this guy again. She kind of thinks like, oh, maybe I should have taken a picture of him, but she's like, nah, I don't think I want a picture of someone who is like I'm never gonna see them again. Like I don't want a picture on my phone just to like think about this person.
Yeah. It's best to just move on. Like,
Yeah. And he kind of has like this moment where it looks like he wants to say something to her and then he doesn't and he leaves and there's like disappointment and she's alone on the roof and she was saying that she liked being alone on the roof and now she doesn't. So that is the end of chapter 1.
And now she's suddenly dependent.
And now she suddenly like doesn't like being alone and she wishes he came back. But like oh, I got it. I can do the summaries now and I don't have to Yay. Book club member.
I have Rihanna stuck in my head.
which song?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
This is I'm thinking back to the Super Bowl.
I didn't see it. I
It
still
was
haven't
good.
seen
It
it.
wasn't like amazing because I don't know if she's pregnant, but she had a belly, and it could just be like a postpartum belly, you know.
I did hear that, and Mia was adamant that that's just baby weight, and we know.
No. She's got to be pregnant. People were saying my cousin Emilia, she's probably not listening because she's 16, but she said she was pregnant and I believe her. That knows everything.
Well, I also I don't know. I don't know. If she's pregnant again, I totally get it because come on, like she's got a really good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And if she isn't, I do think that like that's fine. Like take your time to lose the baby pooch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really good for her.
It's
Yeah.
just it didn't look like a baby belly.
It looked like she was
It didn't look like a postpartum like mom bod.
she looked pregnant.
Yeah.
Which
So,
is
like,
fine.
A postpartum mom bod that could be fixed by like a shapewear, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
is
she
true.
had
That
like a
looked
bump, you
like
know?
that
a
looked
bump.
like a
And like
bump.
in the beginning, she did kind of like
Touch
show
her
off
belly.
yeah.
Okay.
I saw a lot of people that were at the game. They were like, "Oh, me at Rihanna's baby shower."
Oh my god.
I love that. I love that.
Okay, guys. So what do we think of chapter 1? I was very, very upset about it. Like, I
Nothing
have
of
this
it.
little like note card where I was just like saying that she really is giving very not like other girls energy. She was standing on the edge of a really tall building because that's fun. I
And then she's gonna sing, "This is my fight."
Yeah. Mhm. After her abusive father died. I'm also not a very big fan of like present tense, and this whole book is in present tense.
Yeah.
Explain for us idiots what present tense is.
So present tense is when you're talking about something as it's happening in the moment. So if I'm saying this is present tense. So I am saying this to you as I am recording this podcast versus I prefer past tense where I talked to you about this when we were recording the podcast. It feels like it flows better. It's
Mhm.
less like clunky. And this whole thing is in first person present tense. So it's from her perspective and she's talking as it's happening. And I was telling Sophie a while ago that I really hate this because it feels like I'm going blind. Like I feel like I can't see. Yeah, like I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of the feeling it gives me. And there were so many like little like cringy lines. There was like there's no such thing as like bad people really
Oh,
frustrated me because that I understand where he's coming from, but that's not true.
there are bad people.
I know.
Yeah.
Rapists, murderers. Um, that's it.
It it kind of comes
Putin,
back.
Kim Jong Un, bad people.
I thought you were gonna say Bad Bunny.
I know. I was
I love
like,
Bad
like
Bunny.
I would have thrown that girl's phone too.
No, for real.
I'm
No, it's
dead.
because I think it is ignorant to say that there aren't any bad people. It makes me
Yeah.
kind of think of like the same thing we were talking about last book with Snape, where people are just like, no, he's a good person because he did the one good thing. He was a bad person who did a good thing.
He
Bad
was a
people can
dick who
do
did a
good
good thing.
things. Yeah, like bad people can do good things. That doesn't make them a good person.
Yeah.
So it really pissed me off.
It's like the same thing that people, depressed people are like, "There's no such thing as good people." Like, yeah, there is.
Yeah, there are
Like,
good people.
ni muy muy ni tan tan. Like, it's a mixed batch.
Yeah.
Something that my dad is always saying to us is to never overgeneralize. So
Mhm.
never say all or none or always or never because that's not the case. It's just not going to work that way.
Yeah.
I think he has a point. There's a lot of also like unhealthy little tidbits, like so many red flags. The fact that he went up onto the patio and he started kicking around a chair and her thought was, this reminds me of my father.
Yeah.
And then she's attracted, go to therapy.
Daddy
This is an
issues to the
issue.
max.
It's so
To
bad.
the max.
So bad. And then the only thing that I liked was in chapter 1, and it's because she mentioned something about how this guy's voice kind of sent chills down her body, and I can relate to that.
But like
Like
in
I
a good
can
way.
huh?
In
Yeah,
a
in a
good
good
way.
way. In
I
a good
have
way.
never had a man's voice give me chills.
It's nice.
But it's because you're like not into voices.
Yeah, no, I'm not. In fact, well, no, I'm really not. Jesus.
Nah,
I
dude,
am.
I've ghosted people because I don't like their voice.
Mhm.
Sophie.
It's cause like I can't have that like in my
In your
head,
ear.
yeah, in my ear. They're just like talking, and I'm just like,
I am
Ew.
dead. I am weak.
yeah. So like if we're talking, I probably like your voice.
Yeah.
Like, if we're continuously talking.
I think voices are a big deal. At least in my personal opinion, right? Everyone has their own opinions. So, yeah, there's a lot of red flags. That is the first chapter we get. Let's move on to chapter 2 now that I have summaries and we can just go through it real quick and then go through the actual notes the way I wanted to do. So, this is chapter 2. One day later, Lily is back in her apartment alone looking through mementos when her mother calls. Her mother tells her that she shouldn't be embarrassed about the eulogy she gave, thinking that Lily's inability to speak after telling the audience that she was about to talk about great aspects of her father was the result of nerves. Lily decides to let her mother continue talking, thinking this. After
That's
she
smart.
yeah. After she hangs up, she continues to look through the mementos until she finds some boxes with 8 or 9 notebooks. Oh my god. These are
Bientôt.
her Ellen diaries. Diaries that she
Okay.
wrote as letters to comedian Ellen DeGeneres, whose talk show Lily has watched since it began airing. Since her father's death, Lily has found herself thinking about her past. She hopes that in rereading her diaries, she might find a little strength for forgiveness. She begins her diaries from when she was 15 years old, around the time that she met a boy named Atlas Corrigan. In her first entry, she writes off her awareness. that the nearby house is visible from her window, which was long thought to be empty, seeming to have someone in it. She discovers a boy sneaking out, with a backpack and sees him at her bus. In the next entry, she mentions that the mysterious boy is a senior at her school named Atlas. Lily is worried about the boy, who has no access to running water or food, and leaves him at the
Wait, so
house.
he's a senior and she's 15.
Right. He thinks, hold on, we'll get to that. He thinks her the next day because she's giving him food and stuff, and asks if she's told anyone about him. Lily indicates that she didn't and asks him why he is living in the abandoned house. She learns that his parents don't want him living with them. Lily feels sympathy for him, along with the budding attraction she doesn't seem aware of, when she states, "It wasn't because I was scared to touch him. I mean, I was scared to touch him, but not because I was better than him. He just made me so nervous." She invites him to use the shower at her house and gives him a change of clothes and more food.
Fluid?
When he leaves, Lily mentions feeling curious about his situation and wanting to know more. In the present day, when Lily is done reading her entries, she receives another call from her mother telling her that she will be moving to Boston, a decision that makes Lily feel like her wings were just clipped. And that's chapter
Maya
2.
Angelou.
So that's chapter 2, and now I really want to talk about chapter 2 because there's so much.
So-
Starting with Ellen DeGeneres Diaries.
Okay,
Ellen
you go
DeGeneres
first
Diaries?
because
Ellen DeGeneres.
Bro,
Ellen DeGeneres?
I forgot her name.
DeGeneres.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're close. You're close.
You know, okay, so they're her Ellen diaries, right? I read that she said, oh, "Okay, these are my Ellen diaries," and I was so confused. I was like, "For what reason?" Like, it literally starts off with, "Dear Ellen," like,
Well, and this is the pick me energy. She said,
it's so
I
embarrassing.
think that keeping
Yes.
a diary is too corny.
Yes. So she decided to write letters.
Yeah, to Ellen.
As if Ellen gives a shit. Like, oh my god,
Well,
this made me so angry.
I liked it. I thought it was very pick me, but it's a fucking hilarious idea. Like it.
See, and if this was a comedy, I would agree with you. But because this is meant to be taken seriously.
Well, no, but I take it seriously. And if I had a friend that was like, "Oh, I write my diary to Ellen," I'd be like, "You're kind of crazy. That's hilarious." Like,
See, but she doesn't think it's funny. She thinks this is like a thing. Like, you think it's funny. Like, if I told you, "Hey, yeah, like all my diaries are actually written to Ellen DeGeneres," like,
I'd be like,
you would
"Cool."
laugh. You would laugh. We would laugh about that. But I feel like if she told someone, because she says later on that she didn't tell anyone about this because she thinks it's weird. And the people are going to think it's weird and she doesn't want to be made fun of. She knows this is weird.
I know, like, just say diary. That's a lot more normal. Like, if you don't want to be weird, I don't even, when I write my diary, I just write. I don't be like, I'm not like, "Dear diary." I'm just like, "Listen, bitch, this happened, and I'm sad."
Sophie
So
abandoned her diary. Somebody call somebody.
Yeah, like, I mean, sometimes, okay, like, for example, sometimes I write to God, sometimes I write to myself, or sometimes I write to the diary, right? And that's completely fine. But I'm not embarrassed to say that. And if someone were to laugh at me, I would be like, okay, that's fine. This bitch is taking it so seriously, like, that I can't, in good faith, take it seriously. You know what I mean?
I don't, I think that there are bigger problems besides the Ellen
Oh, there are.
chapter.
It just made me mad.
Like, of all the things that have pissed me off so far, this one was the least because it was funny. It showed that like when she was a kid, she was that dumb. Like,
that didn't age well.
I liked it.
It didn't.
I enjoyed that part. And I thought it was funny how she even, like, later on she's bringing up, "Oh, Ellen, you know what you should do on your show?" She's,
Oh,
like,
yeah, I thought that was funny.
spitballing, like,
Yeah, like, I thought, don't get me wrong, there were parts in it that I enjoyed.
yeah.
It's just the fact that she very seriously wrote to Ellen DeGeneres because diaries are too corny. I'm not like other girls. I don't write diaries. I write to Ellen
You hate the
DeGeneres.
pick me energy, but you don't hate the Ellen diary concept. I get you. Like,
Yeah, like, it just the fact that all of that together made me mad. Like, that's what upset me.
yeah.
Like, because I've seen people do that. Like, they'll write to, like, their mom.
Yeah,
But they
that's
don't have a
totally
mom.
fine.
Or, like, you know.
And I mean,
Like,
you
it's
can
just,
write to your favorite celebrity. You know, it's okay.
it's just weird. Like, Ellen.
And I
And
don't know,
Ellen
it's
is
just
canceled now, so
yeah. So
this didn't age well.
no, this was written in 2016, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
Yeah,
And it's
so
barely getting any traction?
I guess
people are bored.
probably. So they said, let's traumatize ourselves.
That's
That feels
usually
so
what
good.
happens.
All right, so let's move on to chapter 3. Chapter 2 was actually very short, and it was literally just her reading through her diaries.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not gonna lie to you, the diary entries are the most interesting part of this book for me so far.
Yeah, so far me too, because I'm more interested in the homeless guy arc. I'm like,
Same.
I want to know that story more than anything. Like,
I think you're gonna like what's coming up then. Because this ends up being a love triangle.
I am
With the homeless
ready.
guy?
Yeah.
Does she end up? She doesn't end up with the homeless guy.
Oh, come on. Of course
I
she
mean,
doesn't. Alright, so chapter 3. 6 months later, Lily shows her mother the building she has bought for her flower shop. She has quit her job at a marketing firm to pursue her dream, a choice her mother appears ambivalent about. As Lily speaks with her mother, a young woman walks in and introduces herself as Alyssa. Alyssa has noticed a help wanted sign and has come to see what the business is about. Lily's mother leaves, and Lily tells Alyssa that she didn't put the sign up and that she only bought the building, but Alyssa is enthusiastic when Lily mentions that she is planning to open a flower shop. She offers to work for Lily for free. Lily decides to hire her on the spot, and they begin cleaning out the space. Lily decides to differentiate herself by making an unconventional flower arrangements, emphasizing darker colors to take risks and be bold and brave. As Lily is arranging crates, she falls and twists her foot. Alyssa calls her husband, who is at a nearby bar, and has her brother, who is with her husband, come to Lily's store. Alyssa's brother turns out to be Ryle, who remembers Lily from the rooftop patio 6 months before. He tends to her foot, and Lily confesses that she thinks about him. For his part, Ryle still wants to sleep with her, but they continue at odds since Lily remains uninterested in casual affairs. Alyssa witnesses Ryle telling Lily he wants to sleep with her and is outraged by her brother. Since there is no furniture or future furniture between them, Lily tells Ryle not to flirt with her. Alyssa suggests Ryle take Lily home, but he declines. Lily takes herself home, reflecting that because of his connection to Alyssa, this probably will not be the last time she sees him.
why would he offer for him to take her home when he just said he wanted to f her and she said no? That is
No, no,
dangerous.
no.
Oh, I'm confused.
Alyssa, the sister, tells him, take her home, and he says no, that he's not going to take her home.
Like, he
I
just
know.
said he wants to fuck her, and he said, no, I'm not taking her home.
No, no, no. I know. I understood that. But like, what a BS friend. Like that would have put her in
Right.
a dangerous situation.
But she
Yeah,
doesn't
I
know
actually
these
do think.
people. This woman has just walked in looking for a job. She just hurt her ankle. They barely know each other. Like, they have just started to get to know each other.
Right, but her brother said to this random stranger, I want to fuck you.
And
And then she says, go take her home. Like,
And
it,
she
if.
is one of those people. She's the rich older sister. Keep in mind, these people don't understand. That's why he smokes weed. That's why she is like all over the place. That's why she took this random flower job, right? They're
Mhm.
bored, rich, privileged people. So it's like
Oh,
outer world concepts. They don't understand what trauma is because they can buy whatever they want.
At least, I think so to some extent. They probably actually have therapists, so
I think they're so ignorant that they probably don't even go to therapy. I think they have the money to and they don't. They choose not to.
also possible.
That's what I think that these people are like. So, yeah, shitty friend, but she's also like detached. She's in her own world.
I don't think she meant bad by it,
no,
Well,
but like,
because
but she's
I just
as
think
a
she didn't.
she didn't think it through. Like as a woman, you
Yeah.
need to always be thinking it through. Like I saw this other TikTok of this girl saying like her neighbor was making fun of her for never using the stairs, and she looks at him like blank faced, and she was like, "There's no cameras in the stairwell,"
Ooh.
and he was like, "Oh, like you gotta be
Um.
thinking things through, my guy, my girl."
Yeah.
And like also, this has nothing to do with anything, but I would love to own a flower shop.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
about the
sweet.
flower shop, this also made me upset. This concept that she came up with for the flower shop made me mad.
Okay.
Basically, she says there are floral shops on every corner for people who love flowers. But what floral shop caters to all the people who hate flowers? And she thinks she's a genius. She's like, I'm the mind of a master.
Oh my
Like,
god.
And oh my god, she's like, has been hired to help her redecorate, right? So she's telling Alyssa her idea. So
Yeah.
so she says basically that she wants the windows to like have like these displays with like really dark colors. She wants like a dark purple for the walls. She wants studs and like the vases to be like velvet or like I don't know, something. It's really
Uh-huh.
weird, right? And Alyssa goes, "You are a genius." And I was like, "Alyssa, honey, no."
She doesn't get it. She's bored. She's
Like a
Oh my
flower shop
god.
for people who don't like flowers.
That's doomed to fail. I'm
That's a
sure it'll
grocery
flourish.
store.
I'm sure that this will flourish because it's a book. I hate the idea. It's terrible.
it
Like,
Like
just
is.
they
terrible.
should have just made it like an alt flower shop. That is
Yeah.
it. That is all. Like all girls love flowers.
All girls do love flowers, unless they're allergic to flowers.
Because we technically have a friend who's alt, not necessarily like dark alt, but like just alternative fashion,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. Like she's like more like vintagey type shit, you know?
Okay.
Not like
Talk about
vintagey like
Danielle.
yeah. And she's straight up allergic to flowers, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Her boyfriend did research, got her hypoallergenic flowers for her birthday.
So
That would have
when
been smart.
so
Yeah.
when you do the fucking work, holy crap.
I
That's so
know.
sweet.
Like they should have done like just an alternative flower shop, like put hypoallergenic flowers, or do more like grains instead of like actual flowers, like succulents.
Or kind of think like
Ferns.
Adam's Family where they do like bushes.
I love
They cut
that.
off the flowers. Like, that would have been interesting. But no, this bitch is like, we're gonna cater to people who don't like flowers. Like, no.
Also, keep in mind, there is down the street from where I live a flower shop that sounds very much like this, but the thing is that they don't market themselves as like for people who hate flowers. It's
Mhm.
like witch bouquets, and it's like the employees
Mm.
come in the middle of the night and make your bouquet under the light of certain phases of the moon.
That's
Ooh,
so cool,
crystals and stuff?
actually.
It's
That is
so
actually so
it's
cool.
so fucking sick. They have crystals, they do wedding planning, they do all this stuff, but it's for people who are either like like some sort of witch spiritualism,
Mhm.
if you're a crystal person, or if you love like the dark wedding theme, that's like their whole like vibe.
Like vampy
See,
gothic
and that
type.
works well.
Yeah,
That works well. That's a
exactly.
cool concept.
I no, and when I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, that like sounds like, and I had to look up where this bitch was from because I was like, she knows that flower shop. She had to have seen that flower shop. I was like, she's probably from San Diego. She's from like Austin, Texas.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so I'm like, she probably
I
saw one
mean,
of those
Austin's
shops.
weird, so it could. There's a possibility that they could have something of that sort.
We don't hate you, Austin, I swear.
No, I mean Austin. They call themselves weird.
I'm just saying.
You know what's
Yeah.
better? San Antonio. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, also, I wanted to point out that Alyssa says to Lily, "My brother cannot be trusted."
Okay, red flag number 2.
Like, your own sister is saying that you can't be trusted. Like, that is such a red flag, and this bitch is still really into him. And this is like a common misconception. When you are attracted to someone, that does not mean that you're in love with them or that you should be with them.
Yeah.
Attraction fades. Trust me. It
Val.
feels intense. It's because I'm really upset because a lot of young girls, teenage girls are reading this book and they're thinking that this is normal. This is not normal. Just because you like someone does not mean you need to be with them. It's okay if they are not in a mindset to be in a good and healthy relationship. Do not be with them. There is someone better. Trust me. It's better to be
Mhm.
alone than in a relationship like this.
Mommy Val spitting true facts, but Auntie Gabby's gonna come in and swoop in and
Uh-oh.
tell you, I too read books this bad when I was your age, and I too romanticized them a little bit, but I got
Mhm.
help. And now
Better help.
I
Imagine.
got the help and I did the
I
work.
wish, dude.
So I'm
One
like,
day, one day.
listen, read these books because you get a perspective of things you don't want.
Mhm.
But don't strive for it. So
Mhm.
Exactly. Correct. Yes. Right. So, chapter 4. Lily gets home after her encounter with Ryle, and since she can't work due to her sprained ankle, she turns back to her diaries. The first entry she reads narrates how Atlas brings her gardening tools, and as a thanks for the clothes, because last time he was there, he showered and she gave him some clothes and food. She provided for him. Atlas mentions wanting to help her with gardening, and they continue talking. Lily invites him to watch Ellen. the Ellen show with her before her parents returned from work. The next diary entry describes them continuing watching the show together for weeks. Lily ends by mentioning how her father assaults her mother and how she resents her mother for allowing it. Her next entry describes her anger and how her father continues to abuse her mother and how her mother tries to hide it from her. She goes to see Atlas and he confronts her. Lily realizes he has a clear view of her room in the present day. Lily reflects that reading about Atlas saddens her, while thinking about Ryle makes her both mad and sad. She prefers to think about Alyssa, her new friend. And that's chapter 4. So this is another Ellen chapter, which I was excited about for
Mhm.
what the aforementioned reasons, where I genuinely like her backstory. Like I actually really think that I would have rather read her high school experience with Atlas.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, he's more interesting than this
Yeah.
Ryle guy.
Yes, I agree. Like he has more, they're both coming from a really fucked up situation where his parents threw him out and her parents are in an abusive relationship. She
Yeah.
mentions how her dad would basically hit his mom and then they would be really good for 2 weeks. Like he would buy her flowers, take her out to dinner, they would do a lot of really good things, and she started to even like want him to hit her so that for 2 weeks she knew everything was going to be okay. So there is just so much trauma and hurt for her. Yeah, like the fact that she is I don't know, like the fact that she is resenting her mom for allowing him to do this to her. Like there's just so much pent up resentment and like trauma
That's
that she really needs to work through. Like
that's
she needs
so victim
to be,
blamey.
but she's a child, at that point she didn't really understand.
Okay, but you know what? And I am going to tell you all a story. And
Thank
this
you.
story comes from my fucking mother. And I was raised because my mom practically raised me. She does say this. It is the woman's job to always look out for her kids.
Hmm.
Because the men, they come, they go, they've always done that, they do whatever they got to do. And my mom was like, if anybody ever hit me, I wouldn't stay for you, because it's just not good.
Mhm.
We don't need to. And so I understand why she blames her mother, because my mom is like, the mom should get the kid out of those situations.
Yeah,
It,
but like the thing is, trauma hits us all very differently. So being in an abusive situation,
That's not
sometimes
fun.
it's not easy to leave. You
see,
feel stuck.
exactly. And see, here's the thing. Nana, go to the other side of the family, was always getting beat up by
Can
men.
y'all tell that Gabby's white?
Yeah.
She calls her grandma Nana.
Okay, first of all, one side of my family is white. But so Nana would always get beat by her husbands, and usually there was drugs or alcohol involved.
Mhm,
And Nana, was a tough broad, and she would stay. And sometimes it wasn't, she would stay out of obligation or she had nowhere else to go.
mhm.
But it was like it, I look at those situations and it's like there is help, you know,
Mhm.
there is help. And there is, once you snap out of it, there is a lot more that you can do about it than you think.
Yeah, it's just, and that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not saying you should stay.
Yeah.
You shouldn't stay. It just, it sucks that she blames her mom because it's
Hmm.
not her mom's fault. It's her dad's fault for being a dick and for being a terrible person.
That
Because
is
on
true.
top of that, he would, if she were to come down when he was hitting her, he would stop because he didn't want her to see him hitting her mom.
See,
Like
that's strange to me.
why?
That's really weird to me.
Hmm.
Because usually it's like if there's like a wife beater,
Hmm.
usually they beat the kids too.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Usually, there's like abuse there as well
but like
somehow.
the fact that she could just go out and he'd stop, like I'm like, this is rare. Like this story is just delusions of grandeur to me. Like,
Also, I don't understand. Like, if you know that your dad's not gonna hit your mom if you're around, how are you not glued to her?
see, and
Mhm.
that poses an issue. Well, I don't know, because she doesn't care, because it happens out of nowhere.
Yeah, like I mean, if but like say that you're in your room and you hear something is going on, I would run out and
No,
be
Oh,
and
like,
like
"What's going on? What's happening?"
you know that it's gonna stop, and you know that he's not gonna do anything to you.
now I
Right.
get
So
it
like
though. The
get
quote
in the
in the
way.
beginning where
Oh, the
My mom, who never
Yes,
wanted me to
yes.
see it, the mom was probably like, "Go to your room."
Oh well, she did say that she would come down, and so there's a one of the entries in this chapter. She says, "If I had a knife or a gun, I would kill him." Her dad, right? And
Creepy.
she steps out and she tells us, like he doesn't hit her if I'm around. And the mom says, "I'm fine. Go back to your room."
Yeah.
So like it's a very complex situation. It's a very complicated situation. If this is something that Colleen Hoover went through, like I'm so sorry. That's a terrible place to be as a child.
Like, we're
Yeah,
not
I don't
shitting
know.
on Colleen Hoover. We're just shitting on her writing.
We can shit on Colleen Hoover for other things, just not this. um so yeah, it's a very very tough situation, and like it's hard. There was another line that I did want to highlight, and it's where she's talking about how she tells Atlas that she's 15 and he looks sad about her age.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought so too, because he's a senior and she's 15, so that means that she's like a freshman. Because I was 15 as a freshman. That was when I had my quince and everything.
Is he 17 or is
i'm
he
hoping
18?
I'm hoping he's 17 and not 18, because that makes it worse. It's still worse. It's still bad because like a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old don't have too much in common, but it's better than a 15 and an 18-year-old.
See, but here's the thing. High school is that moral gray area where it's like you're all at the same school. There is an age difference, but like out in the real world, a 3 to 4 year age gap isn't that bad.
No, it isn't. It's just you have to keep in mind what age you're at.
That's true.
So,
But if he
like
is 18,
younger,
this is wrong. Like,
yeah, like the younger you are, the more gap in age like it feels like, right?
yeah.
So, if you're 16 and your boyfriend is 20,
Oh my God.
that feels humongous, and it's wrong. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Versus if you're like 21 and he's 25,
Yeah.
it's not as bad. And obviously if we were like 35 and 31, it's like not even something to like scoff at. Like it's
Yeah.
completely
Because
normal.
like you're heading towards like similar places in life.
Yeah.
When you're 16 and someone's 20, you are not in the same place. You're in high school and
Oh,
someone's in college, and that's
yeah.
just like not okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think he is 20. I think he's
No,
probably
no, no.
18.
No, yeah,
Probably.
he's probably not 20. It's still like kind of, I don't know. I'm very sensitive to like age gaps. They make me uncomfortable for many, many reasons.
Uncomfy.
Um yeah, and we don't know. We just know that he's a senior and that she's 15. So that's
Okay.
as much information as we have. I just think it's really weird, and I put down that it was a red flag that he seems sad about her age.
Fat red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like kind of a weird thought, like if you're sad about her age, you should probably leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our final chapter for today, guys.
Exciting.
This will be chapter 5. A few days later, Lily's ankle has healed and she has continued to organize her flower shop. Ryle pays her a surprise visit and she notices that he looks tired and seems to have come from the hospital. He tells her that he has tracked down her apartment and confesses that he has been unable to stop thinking about her.
He
Because
tracked down
this is
her.
interfering. Hold on. Because this is interfering with his ability to concentrate on his work, he asks her to sleep with him. Lily laughs at his request, telling him she has been working to set up her flower shop and is tired. She agrees when he insists on the condition that he allows her to shower. When she emerges, however, he has fallen asleep. Disappointed, Lily falls asleep next to him. Ryle apologizes the next day as he leaves and promises that he won't approach her again. She reminds herself that she doesn't want a fling and that she is a bold, brave businesswoman with zero fucks to give for men in scrubs, and that her shop is enough to occupy her thoughts.
Her name is Lily Bloom.
Correct?
And she owns a flower shop.
Yeah, so that was a point of contention early on. So she says to Ryle in the first chapter, I want a flower shop. And it's kind of, I don't want to do it because I feel like my name is kind of cringy with it.
Yeah.
Why does she care so much if things are cringy? Like, come on, like that's like the
Just do
perfect
it.
name.
You're writing to Ellen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's fine. It's fine. So this chapter has, I think, the most red flags so far. I was physically uncomfortable reading it because he was coercing her into sex.
Yeah, sexual coercion. I wrote that down.
Dude.
Yeah, like there's a point where she says he tracked her down. He knocked on 29 doors in the building to get to her.
That's terrifying.
And she literally thinks, how in the hell does he know where I live?
That's
Yeah,
weird.
like,
That's like really creepy.
That's so scary. There's another one that says, at at home, all I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. Please make it stop just once. That's all it takes, I
Oh my
swear.
god.
So he is blaming her for his inability to keep his dick in his pants. Are you fucking kidding me?
There was a guy that I know, quick little side story, and you know that app CoStar?
Yeah.
When you can like have a username, his username was "can't keep my dick in my pants."
Oh my god. My god. Okay, well, I don't know. Hopefully it's not the same situation. But basically, like, he keeps on blaming her for his inability to think about anything but her, which is
Dude,
so fucking problematic. Like, there's another, even the next page, he again says, like, please, please sleep with me. He gets on his fucking knees,
that's so pathetic.
holds
Slam the
on to
door.
her.
That is
He,
so
like, is
pathetic.
holding on to her. He's begging her to sleep with him. Like,
Like, that's just wrong. That's unhealthy. That's like,
he needs therapy too for other
that's
reasons.
terrifying.
Later on, she says to him, like, I refuse to become one of the many girls you use. How did you word it that night? Satisfy your needs. But the problem is that if she agrees to sleep with him, because at this point she's kind of agreeing to sleep with him and she says, like, I will sleep with you one time and that's it.
Yeah.
She is satisfying his needs and is exactly what she's saying that she's not gonna be. Like, there's just so many problems. And he says to her, I don't sleep with the same girl twice, and you're not that kind of girl anyway. So it's fine. I just need you this one time.
See, that's like the worst. Like a conversation like that would make me cry. Cause I'm like, come on, like you just see me as like some sort of like object.
Object?
Yeah.
There's another part over here in the next page where she's talking about how she thinks she can totally sleep with him, that she can have a one night stand, and that she's a 23-year-old and she should be able to. This is hookup culture and what I feel like it does to a lot of people. I am not into hookup culture
There is no
whatsoever.
should.
If you do not want to sleep with someone,
You don't
if you
have
do not
to.
want to have a one night stand, you do not have to. Don't let anyone make you feel like you have to because it's normalized.
And don't
Like,
feel like you're missing out on life because you're not sleeping with somebody every other night. Your quality of life isn't linked to sexual partners.
and if your quality of life is, then you need to.
Check your
You need
values.
therapy.
You
You
to,
need
yeah.
therapy.
Because, like, I'm more than happy being alone. I
Same.
can take myself out and, like, I'll be happy.
I can buy myself flowers.
Literally.
That song is
Um,
everywhere.
I know.
know.
And that's just, like, unhealthy, like, being so dependent of others for your own happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, to
You're never
judge
gonna
your
be
quality of
happy.
life. Yeah, because, like, you need to be happy within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like if you think that if I just had a boyfriend, I would be happy, or a girlfriend or whatever, right? You're not right. What you need is to really look inward and start to love yourself. The love that you're looking for needs to come from within you first, and then you can properly look at things like objectively.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the part where I wrote down that, when someone describes himself a certain way that you should really listen to them. He says the next morning he falls asleep, right?
Yeah.
He says to her, I am the most despicable man you have ever met. Am I right? And he says this with a smile. When someone says to you that they
Despicable.
are not great, that they push everyone away, that no one likes them, it's not because they're like the victim. It's because they probably are the one that's making it happen.
You can't fix them. You cannot
And-
fix them.
No. I saw this TikTok recently where it was like, I just realized why I need to fix men, or I think I can. It's because they would sit me next to the rowdy boys so that I could keep an eye on them.
Oh God.
So now I think I can fix them. That was me. They would sit me next to the people who wouldn't shut up.
Val's so edgy.
You cannot fix them.
If
You
someone,
can't.
if someone says you deserve better,
Better. Oh,
hell yeah, you do. Get
you
out of
would
there.
run.
Get
Run.
out of there.
That is your get out of jail free card.
And you say, you're right. Peace out.
Mm-hmm. You do not stay. As soon as someone says to you, you deserve better, that means that they are not willing to change. They are not willing to be better. They are not willing to do anything for you. Leave.
Yeah.
Because
You will not fix them.
You might want them to be better, but they will never be better.
Because no one will change unless they want to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you will not be the reason. Another thing, and good thing that we got into that. she says to herself, I can't be upset that I'm not enough to make a guy want to remap all his life goals because he doesn't want a relationship and he just wants to sleep with her. And she's kind of blaming herself, saying that she's not enough so that he will change and want to be in a relationship with her. This is unrealistic. Later on, and I'm sure, even though I haven't read this book, I'm sure that they end up in some sort of relationship. That does not mean that it's going to happen to you. It most likely will not.
Yeah.
If it does, and if it did, it is an exception and not the rule. And it doesn't make you better, and it's not because of you. It's because that person decided it was time to change for themselves.
Exactly. They have to do the inner work to have that kind of revelation.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. This hits really close to home. Like, so it makes me very mad.
No, you know what? Books like this are important, and it's good that like these can. It's good that we can talk about this stuff.
I think so too. I want people to understand that whether this book is good, bad, or problematic or not, or the author is good, bad, or problematic or not, there are things you can take away from this. And it is not, I can change a man. A man will drop everything and change for me. Abuse is okay and we can get over it. If I'm abused, it will change. It is none of those. If you are in a relationship that has anything like this, where you think like, oh, we're friends with benefits and he's going to fall in love with me. He's not going to fall in love with you. I'm so sorry.
Val,
I'm so
leave
sorry.
them alone.
It's because
Val, you're beating it into them. You've said it like 8 times.
I need y'all to know.
Men know within like 15 minutes if they actually want to date you.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
If they want to date you or marry you.
Date you.
Oh, okay, cool.
They know.
They know, guys. Like, they're not gonna be like, I don't know, I just need some time. They know. They'll know. They also know within like 3 months if they want to marry you or not. They know very quickly. My dad knew like when he met my mom that he was gonna marry her.
Aww.
I know. He told her, no?
I think he told her. Yeah, they were like on a date, and he was like,
"I'm gonna marry you.
You're gonna marry me.
Yeah.
You're gonna marry me." And
like,
my mom was
oh
like,
my God,
"No." And look, now there's 2 kids.
I know.
Now there's you two.
Today, he ordered roses for her for Valentine's Day, but like big long stem roses. It came in a box. He ordered
36 roses.
36 roses.
Oh,
2 bouquets of red ones and pink ones.
Yeah,
that's so cute.
No, for real. Like, I'm just saying. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject. That is the end of chapter 5, guys. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to say, like, go for it.
That was chapter 5?
That was chapter 5. That was all of the chapters we're doing today.
Holy crap, we went through that.
How many
we totally could have done
book?
a couple more. There's like 36, 37, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's chapter 5.
What the fuck even? Like despicable? Like, who is he, fucking Gru?
Yeah. He says girls.
What is he, Gru? I'm dead.
Girls?
Yeah. They need wizard therapy.
They do need wizard therapy. They really fucking do.
I feel so bad for her.
Me too, because this is going to be a really hard read. Like, it really is. Yeah. I can tell.
It's a lot. It's just a lot of bullshit.
I have a lot of
okay.
thoughts.
It's okay. We'll make it fun. We'll try to talk about it. Maybe we'll learn a thing or two.
Yeah, and
well, guys,
funny that we're doing this before Valentine's Day.
Oh, deadass! I was about to say. Technically, this is kind of like our Galentine's episode, so it could be like trauma and Galentine's vibes, just hating on men.
Yeah, sucks. I wish that I would have planned this a little bit better. It's just I didn't. I was just like, I just need to get as many episodes as possible.
Yeah, that's true.
Before I take off.
That's okay.
But hopefully now I can start more so planning what books we're reading around certain times. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that this was an interesting podcast. It got very heavy, and I'm sure that
it'll keep getting more heavy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll get worse because this is only the beginning, and I've heard some pretty bad things about this. If you guys know, because we didn't talk about it, I do know that Colleen Hoover is a very controversial author for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being that she glamorizes abuse and trauma in her books. So do not hate us. We are not Colleen Hoover fans. We just wanted to read this book because of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Well, that's why you two are reading it. I agreed to read it because, well, you said that it was crazy. I know nothing about it. And also Mio was saying, she's like, "But when you finish the end, you're gonna throw the book just like everyone else." She's like, you either throw the book, and she's like, I read it on a Kindle, and I was just like, I threw it on the bed. Like, it's apparently like it pisses everybody off. So
Oh no.
I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm like,
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys join us next week where we will be going on about the next couple of chapters, which I will have to be doing math for. And see you soon. Bye, guys.
bye.
Why did I wave like that with like my whole body?
Last thing before we say bye. Please listen. These two girls are reading this book for you.
Yes.
They're explaining it to me. Like, please listen. Please. Like, I have chills. I have chills. You can't see it, but I have chills. Oh my god.
It's pretty bad. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.